Bracketology, presented by Dave Campbell's Texas Football, breaking down the 2023 Texas High School Football Playoff brackets. I'm Greg Tepper, and this is the 6A Division II bracket, which has a lot of intrigue across, I think, every region. Every region has a different story to tell here. There's a defending state champ down here that we'll talk about, but there is not the team that they played last year. We will have a new state finalist, guaranteed to have a new state finalist on this side of the bracket, which makes this all the more interesting. But as I mentioned, a story in every region. We'll start up here in the Region 1. Up here in Region 1, DFW, West Texas, El Paso, and you've got a lot of heavy hitters that I think are ready to make a statement. For example, I really like what Byron Nelson brings to the table. District 4 feels like the power nexus of this particular region. Specifically, the top two teams, both from District 4, made it into the Division II bracket. When you've got Byron Nelson and Southlake Carroll, they really sent a message when they knocked off Southlake Carroll. I would not throw dirt on Southlake Carroll though. Fascinating team there. El Paso Eastwood's a team to keep an eye on as a sleeper. Evan Minares gives them a real star at the quarterback spot. This McKinney-Flower Mound Marcus first-round matchup is very interesting out of District 5. Of course, you've got a team that, like this matchup down here, Denton Geyer and Coppell. Undefeated Coppell, first undefeated regular season in 6 years, only the third in program history. Their defense has been fantastic. What do they do when they take on a power like Denton Geyer? There's also a team like Highland Park, right? I think a team maybe we've forgotten about, but this is a very strong program in Highland Park, and you know they know what to do whenever they get to the playoffs. So a fascinating matchup here. Can Midland get hot again? This is a team that kind of stumbled down the stretch, started very hot. If they get very hot, they might be West Texas's best chance to make a run. Really interesting. There's going to be an intriguing finalist here, a semifinalist rather, from Region 1. Down to Region 2. And this is where the defending state champs live, in the DeSoto Eagles. And look, they're the #1 team in the state. They have looked every bit the part of a team that can go back-to-back. And yet, I think they have perhaps the most treacherous draw of any defending state champ in Texas high school football. Maybe there's one in 3A Division I we'll get to in a little bit. But for DeSoto, if they win against Harker Heights, they'll be favored. A team like Wiley's or Tyler Legacy, probably a favorite in that one. They could see either Willis or Tomball Memorial in the regional semifinal. And you're talking about DJ Lagway, one of the best quarterbacks in America, coming to town. That's a very dangerous spot. Or Tomball Memorial, team whose offense is really lighting it up. Bottom half of the region's interesting too. What do we make of Pflugerville Weiss? A team that had a strange late season loss. Not sure what that means to them, but they had been otherwise absolutely rolling. They look like a threat. I think this winner of the Cy Falls Tomball game has an opportunity to make a run as well. And Conroe Oak Ridge may have the best defense in this entire region, and that is saying something. They are absolutely star-studded. So again, DeSoto up here, the conversation has to center around the defending state champs, but there are landmines all over here for the Eagles to go back-to-back. Let's go to Region 3. Over on the other side, and again, we talked about it when we talked about 6A Division I, about how a lot of the heavy hitters piled into the Division I bracket this year. So who's left in Region 3 of Division II? I think there's a couple teams. One from the power nexus there in District 21, and that's the Summer Creek Bulldogs. This team is legit. They're a team that gave North Shore their toughest run. I think that defense is going to hold them in pretty much every game. They have playmakers all over the field. This Summer Creek team, I think, is very, very dangerous. And remember, they are no stranger to making deep runs. They've made deep runs in the playoffs. Same thing goes with Katie Taylor. Katie Taylor, you remember, was a former state semifinalist a few years back. Down here in the bottom half of the bracket, it really is kind of pick your poison. Fort Bend Hightower, a very high variance team, but when they play to their paper, they're one of the best teams in the state, matched up with another high variance team in Katy Jordan, making their inaugural playoff appearance. How do they handle the moment? That's fascinating stuff there. And then I would keep an eye on the Clear Falls team that I think is peaking at the right time, a team to keep an eye on down there. But again, because Katy, North Shore, Atascocita, a lot of the heavy hitters, Cy-Fair, all up into Division I, there's kind of a void here in Division II rather of Region 3. What happens then? Let's go to Region 4, which might be the most fascinating region of all. Specifically, we're guaranteed to have a new state finalist because Austin Vandergrift is not here, right? I think if you're talking about the big winner in the draw, it's these boys right here, Cibolo Steele. because everyone piled the week 11, everyone moved up to Division 1 and they dropped down to Division 2, and they look like a real threat to make a run. I think they got a really nice run, especially if they can get past first round matchup with Brandeis. Again, a team that has been very good in the past. San Antonio Harlan, a dangerous team out of San Antonio as well. Bottom half of the regions where things get really interesting. What do you make of a team like Dripping Springs, right? A team that that I think people forgot about because they're in the Lake Travis Westlake district, but a very dangerous Dripping Springs team. If they can get past Cedar Park Vista Ridge in the first round, they could have a matchup with a surging and I think dangerous San Antonio Clark team down there out of District 28. As far as the Valley is concerned, this first round matchup between Edinburgh and Vela, or rather Edinburgh and Harlingen, is going to be really exciting stuff, and I really like this Weslaco team coming off their first undefeated regular season since 1991. Keep an eye on the Panthers. But in the end, a lot of this comes down to whether or not you think this is the year that San Antonio finally slays the Austin Dragons. So when you take a look at the bracket as a whole, DeSoto down here looks like the favorite, but a big group of landmines here. Who knows up here, right? McKinney has been the team that probably has the highest ceiling, but they haven't always met it. You've got other sleepers there like Denton Geyer or Coppell or Southlake Carroll or Byron Nelson, a team to keep an eye on up there. Over here, again, because everybody kind of cleared out, I think that you've got an opportunity for Summer Creek to make a big run. If not them, then maybe a team like Fort Bend Hightower or Katy Jordan. And then down here in Region 4, it comes down to me, Cibolo, Steele, and Dripping Springs is the two favorites here, potentially meeting in a regional final, and can San Antonio finally get over the hump against Austin? It's fascinating stuff. DeSoto looking to go back-to-back. No matter what happens, we'll have you covered every step of the way at TexasFootball.com.